Ok.
Tá.
Fácil. Muito bem.
Pronto, de qualquer das maneiras, acho que vamos ter também uma introdução antes ainda de começar, não é, Catarina?
Exatamente. Eu vou só falar um bocadinho nada, depois vou dar a palavra a um parceiro do projeto que também deve estar para entrar, também vai falar 5 minutinhos e depois vou passar a palavra a vocês. Vou pedir, se calhar, para se apresentarem só um bocadinho para darem uma introdução e depois podem começar à vontade.
Muito bem.
Obrigada.
Inglês, certo?
Sim.
Ok.
Temos vários participantes da MBA e então alguns só falam mesmo em inglês.
Tem ser uma boa oportunidade para aprender em português, mas já devem ter assistido muita coisa em português. Hoje a gente fala inglês.
Mas é um bocadinho mais difícil acompanhar a fluência portuguesa.
Claro que sim, claro que sim. É um crime até. Não vou editar. Também.
I think we can start this masterclass. So, hello everyone. As you might know, this masterclass is slightly different from the others. It is organized by Porto Business School within the AfriConEU project. So we have PBS students here with us, and as well as AfriConEU partners and other stakeholders who are interested in this team. First of all, for those of you who haven't registered through Eventbrite, I'm going to ask you to please fill in this form that I'm going to put in the chat right now. The link is already in the chat. So today we have Joseph from DPixel in Bologna here to present the project, and then we'll give the floor to Guilherme and Fernando, who some of you already know. Joe, maybe you can start presenting the project.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
So I have a presentation here, and I should do that from there. Okay. You guys see the screen now?
Yes.
And move forward, move back, fine?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Katerina, and thank you all of you for joining this masterclass. Really happy with the work that AfriConEU has been doing to present this material, and I'm sure all of you will find it a really useful activity. As Katerina said, my name is Joseph Gaylord. I work with a company called DPixel that is based out of Italy. I'm personally just north of Milan, but we have operations throughout Italy. And we are an innovation agency attached to the country's largest private bank. And we are a part of the AfriConEU consortium. AfriConEU is a project funded by the Horizon 2020 program. And as you see on the screen, our mission is to create the first trans-continental networking academy for your African and European digital innovation hubs. So there we go. Okay, so what are we trying to do in a material set? So we are trying to support the work of digital innovation hubs through, as you see here on the screen, capacity building, knowledge sharing, networking, collaboration, joint projects, and venture development. So specifically, what are we trying to do? Facilitate knowledge and experience sharing. So we know that there is a wealth of information out there on how digital innovation hubs can operate most effectively and how they can support their innovation ecosystems. And we look to build up those skills through this knowledge and experience sharing, also to drive partnerships between hubs and the ecosystems around them, and especially transcontinental partnerships, so activities that bridge both sides of that continental split. Create collaborative projects, and especially for youth and women and other vulnerable groups, of course, trying to bring the benefits of the digital innovation economy as widely as possible. So specifically, we are working with communities in Nigeria, Uganda, Ghana, and Tanzania to analyze the local needs and create specific programs for them, like the one that you were engaged in today. That leads to, and this is part of this activity, the flagship building on capacity building, the flagship program on capacity building, where we are working to create training materials on how to best run and manage a digital innovation hub, especially for communities that have hubs that are just starting up. In parallel with that, so we have the capacity building foot. We also have the partnership development foot. And that is the flagship program on transcontinental partnerships is working to develop collaborations between European and African ecosystems, especially in terms of supporting digital innovation hubs on both sides. And that is to lead to this idea of cooperation on equal footing. So obviously, with the way that paradigms work, often it is fostering African hubs with resources from the European side. However, we want to make sure that as often as possible, we're seeing that as an equal exchange, that both sides are working together to move forward. We're developing and delivering capacity building programs like this one, knowledge sharing, partnership development among the hubs, and moving toward a digital economy and providing new job opportunities. So these are all things that we're looking to do. And why is that? Because we want to support the ecosystems. So that's the DIHs specifically. That's our main target, obviously. But we're targeting the DIHs because they help to engage entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and build up the innovation ecosystems that will lead to sustainable growth in innovation on both continents and create opportunities for innovators and for those around them. And then obviously, as we're working, we want to make sure that we are spreading the information as widely as possible and helping to move toward a digital economy that's shared between the two continents. And all of this works through online platforms that, of course, are robust due to the COVID pandemic. So logistically, we have a project that runs in 5 phases. The first phase was for most of 2021, and that is a study of the state of the art, where the state of play is in terms of digital innovation ecosystems and DIHs across the African continent. That's actually material that's being that report is being rolled out at a number of conferences and moving toward publication at this moment. Phase 2 of the project is Phase 2 was from 2021 into early 2022, and that is the development of what you are seeing today, which is the Networking Academy and its flagship programs, designing, developing the material and the content being presented. Phase 3 is the rollout. That's where we are now. And then phase 4 and phase 5 are happening kind of in parallel with the rest of it, which is building up a community that can take the results of our project and working on communication and dissemination more widely of the work that we're doing. As I said, there's two flagship programs. Capacity building has 4 targets: tech transfer and experimentation, DIH development models, access to finance, and skills development. And on the other side, we have partnership development. So that's moving toward a common digital market, building up jobs for the 21st century, and exploring business and investment opportunities in the African market. Spoke about the capacity building program. This program is part of that. And the partnership development program is working on building up partnerships on both sides. And we have an online community, a very robust online community that's constantly in conversation. We have our community on LinkedIn. We also have an ambassador community that's very active on Discord that's moving forward as well. And yeah, our goals are 12 workshops, 20 webinars, and 8 masterclasses. This is part of that. We are about 3/4 of the way through that. However, if there's any of the content that you are interested in, I welcome you to go to our website, AfriConEU.eu, and find any of that back information. We engaged an international brokerage event in November in Bologna, Italy. And this summer, we are going to do 4 design thinking boot camps at the DIH partners in Africa. And then there's going to be a final event in Q4 of this year. Those are all aimed at partnership development as opposed to the capacity building. Targets for where we want to be in terms of the community that we're building up. And some information about the expected impact, but that's kind of large scale information. And the consortium of partners that I've been talking about, We have 7 partners coming from the European continent and 4 from the African continent. And you see this wonderful map of the different actors. So coming from the UK, Slovenia, Greece, Italy, Portugal, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and Tanzania. And additionally, we have community that spreads across both continents and the African diaspora community, even globally, the African diaspora community. So that's really worldwide. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. I see that the link to our information went up in the chat. So anyone who's interested in further finding out about what we do, please explore that. And with that, I will hand the floor back to Katerina so that we can get on with the specific work for today in terms of the masterclass that you're here to join. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joseph. So now it's time to give the floor to Guilherme and Fernando to tell us more about themselves and a little more about business intelligence and analytics.
Well, I'll go first then. Let me just thank you very much again, Katerina, and Joe. Let me just share a couple words with you. We're so looking forward to working with you guys. We, the SPA, the Data Science Portuguese Association, we're actually just getting started in a project, an European Digital Innovation Hub. It's a consortium composed of 23 entities, Portuguese entities, and yeah, we've been entitled the possibility of launching one European Digital Innovation Hub that, beyond all the work that we will be obviously doing in our in our market, towards our professionals and SMEs and public sector. Of course, we are to engage with the European network of digital innovation hubs. But on top of that, I think we should go further on, and we should definitely, be on your loop and reach out to each other, because of course we're very interested in expanding exactly what you were saying before, this capacity that we have to facilitate knowledge and experience sharing. We all have hubs of knowledge and tools that we would be, very happy to explore together and to share. Well, having said so, I'm actually, well, Guilherme Ramos Pereira. I'm the Executive Director of Data Science Portuguese Association. I have a background in management. So although we are in this field of data where most of us or some of us are supposed to be people from engineering or computer science or math or statistics, backgrounds, whatever. I come from the area of management, and I usually say that data science is actually a question of management, and management is a question of common sense. So after all, it's very good to be here with close to or 200 people with all sorts of backgrounds. It's actually a very good audience for us, Data Science Portuguese Association, to be talking to and to present. Before Fernando takes the lead, to present what we, the SPA, have been doing and why we believe that our work is so valuable for the ecosystem, and to tackle the title of this masterclass, Business Intelligence and Analytics. I'm going to be sharing some slides as well. I'm going to go as fast as I can through them. Please let me know if you are. Sorry. Yep. I believe you can see my PowerPoint presentation now.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So anyway, keep going. That's me. Thank you for. Okay, now I got it. Okay, now it's working. Anyway, briefly the agenda. I'm gonna be presenting you the SPA, of course, and Fernando are gonna be talking about data storytelling, one of the subtopics of today's session. What's our mission, our main goals, what we do in this concept of creating and enhancing a data-driven national and international ecosystem, and why we believe so much in the empowerment of professionals is what I'm going to go through. So basically, think of at society level, everyone that listens to all these buzzwords we are getting today, data science, analytics, open AI, generative AI, all these buzz around all these topics. And if you ask around, and we've done so, of course, if you ask people who's really using data science, what this data science is, it's almost a complex question, being such an easy question. A simple question. It's also almost a complex question to have a good answer to. Obviously, people within the field or close to the field will have a good answer, a possible answer. But most people won't still, although things are changing, things are shifting. When we tell people that all of us nowadays are really either impacted or followers or a product to all these tools that are totally intelligence based and data based, then people start to understand that it's a question of yes or yes, and it's a question of understanding what's on it, what's in it, and really is a question of understanding how we can take more value to our businesses, to our lives from the world of data science. Basically, this was on the top of our mind of a set of people, individuals, all linked and connected to the world of data science, to the world of business intelligence, of analytics, etc. When a few years ago, early 2018, Data Science Portuguese Association was launched with this mission of empower data science, empower all these concepts for a better world, because we do believe in it as a tool, as a path for a better world, for us all at society and corporate or economic level, if you want. So basically, our main goals, our pillars, if you want, are of course to promote data science in Portugal internationally. There's a whole lot to be done yet. The numbers are not fantastic when we look at the adoption and maturity level of tools and solutions, data science based or data based or BI or analytics based, that corporations, entities, SMEs in Europe are actually using. And of course, Europe is falling behind the US market and the Chinese market. And of course, there's also this need, this call to accelerate the transformation, the transition, this digital transition we all talk about in our ecosystem. So basically, we were launched as a nonprofit today, some 6 years ago. We are over 500 members and partners today. And we work basically on clarifying, on explaining, on empowering data science, talking to people by, again, sharing knowledge, promoting network, also working on setting some standards for the industry, for the activity, so we all know what we're talking about and we all listen to the same music, so to say. And this is very relevant. We'll see it ahead. We also work in terms of promoting regulation, ethics. We also tackle this topic and we've done it setting a code of conduct and ethics for our community, for the professionals of this activity. And of course, we promote the entrepreneurship and innovation. We have launched awards towards individuals, data scientists, data executives, or organizations, with awards on implementation of projects or prototyping ideas in projects, as well as we cooperate, of course, with the government, with public bodies and entities when called or when we have the opportunity, and we also tackle, of course, whatever social good project we can get. So basically, Data Science Portuguese Association, We have the data in the core of our activity, and we wanna empower it by touching all possible angles. All possible projects, activities, challenges that society and the academy and the corporate world have. Main projects we have been conducting. Again, I've just mentioned the Code of Ethics and Conduct. It's definitely a very, very relevant project for us all, because we all know that all of this can fall apart very easily if our professionals, or if the professionals that are doing the path, that are developing these projects, do behave in a matter with data, or in a way with data that we really endanger the whole industry that we're in, for obvious reasons. We promote all sorts of events, international conferences, more thematic or sectorial events, pure networking events, and moments for our ecosystem. We have been working throughout the country, showing, demonstrating, provoking matchmaking and networking between the academic and scientific ecosystems in corporations, small, medium-sized enterprises mostly, and professionals, to really show and demonstrate all sorts of examples of projects, of use cases that can really be done by all, so to say, or all companies can look at and get inspired to get involved in this activity. Again, as I was telling Joe, we are a part of this ATRACT European Digital Innovation Hub, a consortium that really aims at supporting experimentation, testing, adoptions of solutions, data science, AI, and high performance computing based. And of course, this is something that it's just now starting. But I would say the whole ecosystem is going to be hearing about us, because we have a very solid, compelling plan of actions to really try to make a change in our national ecosystem while working together with European networks. And because all this transformation, all this transition, all this hype, if you want, needs more talent. We promote regular, what we call the recruitment talent games. We promote several dynamics, bringing together university students and young professionals with corporations, with entities, with members of the SPA, in order to provoke this matchmaking of talent and needs and opportunities from the market. So this is, again, it's a way to promote and to facilitate knowledge and experience challenge. But anyway, we're so data science driven, when we talk so much or almost only about data science. We usually talk to our people and to our companies, to our members, and we're asked, like, do we all need to be data driven? Meaning, do we all need to be data scientists? I would say amongst the close to 200 people that we have here today with us, we could observe for sure all sorts of backgrounds. So definitely, we do not all have to be data scientists. However, we strongly believe in this statement that the future of intelligence, and this impacts, of course, society, the individuals, the corporations, the organizations, public or private. The future of intelligence requires at least some business intelligence and analytical capacities, what we call the data analytics, awareness and skills. And this has been the motto, has been, I would say, very foundational for a project and for the work we have been doing to really design the profession of data scientist, or a set of roles within the world of data science, professional roles, of course, and also talk to corporations to allow them, and when I say corporations, I mean all sorts of organizations, again, small and medium size, large size, because not all are actually mature in the adoption of this culture or literacy or dimensions. And basically we've been the past couple of years we've been working very hardly on developing this project, this what we call the Data Science Digital Transition Project. So that you understand, we've been working with throughout the country, center, north, south, bringing people together, professionals, the academy, the organizations, to really promote this vision, this data-driven, as we say on this slide, this data-driven vision and attitude that's really focused on data, on really transforming processes, on really observing and looking into new business models that are based on the topic of our masterclass today, business intelligence and analytics. And we strongly believe that only if we do that if we force it a bit, if you want, we would be really aiming at a much more secure, competitive, and sustainable path for us all. Times are of change, of very fast change, of very fast transition, and again, Europe was falling behind. Reason why there is so much pressure, positive pressure, on promoting projects such as the European Digital Innovation Hub we mentioned before, as well as Joe Gaylord's projects you just mentioned in the beginning of this session. Then again, going back to the topic I was stressing out, do we all need to know a lot about this? Well, again, I'm going to say no, but at the same time, for sure, some will. Some of these people, some of the professionals in these areas will. However, we do believe that not all do have to know the same, nor will have to have the same proficiency in the different fields, the different roles, the different areas, the different dimensions of the profession, or the roles within the world of data science. There's actually a very broad set of skills, of competencies, and it's very important for the ecosystem to understand that being a long road full of stops, as we just saw before, there are some foundational questions around these topics that we can very easily find answers to, allowing us or empowering us to be part of the game, to be part of this new world that's so data-based, data-driven, data-oriented. These challenges for the widespread adoption of data science were actually also some of the challenges, some of the questions that Data Science Portuguese Association, the people that started this project a few years ago, were dealing with, were listening to. What's in it? How can we learn it? What should we learn? What sort of background do one has to have? Are we all to be data scientists? What sorts of academic degrees required? Or, all the questions we have here. So then again, I would say that all these question marks empowered us, or led us, better said, led us to develop a very interesting and game-changing project that we have been presenting and actually implementing throughout the past few months, with the academy, members of the SPA, with some companies. And basically this project is all about coming up with developing this, what we call the SPI playbook. It's call it the job professional, or the manual, the professional manual, that really identifies the knowledge areas. What are the knowledge areas that compose the world of data science, the activity of data science? And those are clear for us: computer sciences, math, and business knowledge, of course. And all of us have a bit of any of these. If not so, we should all have at least some business knowledge of whatever business we are linked or related to. So we developed this framework, this playbook that brought a set of definitions on top of this, again, business knowledge areas. We developed a methodology and a process for people to see what they know, to understand what they are to know, what they need to know, what they want to know, and get better knowledge or proficiency on. and then develop a set of tools to allow people to have fast, easy access to all this knowledge, to all this information. And of course, we've been doing a lot of promotion and disclosure throughout the country, as I said before, and very soon, through a partnership with a new learning platform, we shall have it all in English in order really to export this project, I'm going to say, or the ambition of the valuation of valuing the professionals, and to support organizations to really understand what sorts of professionals roles should they have within their teams. Then again, we did, going back to what I said before, once we identified this knowledge areas and resorting to this graph that's very common, very known, that really sets up the key profiles within the world of the data science, within the activity of data science. We got to this map, and this was of course done by the SPA, but on top of a lot of international benchmarking. So we're not really reinventing the wheel, we're just reinforcing the knowledge that this wheels of course have. Okay. It's not coming from me anyway. I'll keep going. We came to this to identify, to set and establish these 4 key data science profiles, sets of skills and knowledge that really differentiate what a data analyst, a data engineer, a machine learning engineer, and the data scientist should know, should understand, should have proficiency on, in order for professionals to really know what should their roles be in an organization, in a project, and what should organizations be looking at when they look into designing teams and going after professionals. Basically, on top of this concept of designing the roles, setting up a framework with different levels of expertise, of knowledge and proficiency, and also designing goals in terms of the career path, of the progression route of the professionals. We developed this project of this methodology and a process of certifying professionals. Then again, has 3 key goals: really to clarify on the professional, on the profession, on the roles of this professional activity. Evaluating these professionals. Bear in mind that there is no such thing as the profession of data scientist yet. There's no professional order, of course. And we, the SPA, will never be a professional order. We believe that we can work on being, or we can empower our organization to become recognized as a conceptual authority in this area. In our ecosystem. So we want to evaluate the professionals. We want to tell them how to progress in their careers, and of course, we want to bring again clarity for companies, clarity for employers, so that they know exactly what sorts of knowledge, skills, roles are they to have in their teams to tackle their processes, to tackle their projects, their business opportunities, or their business needs. This actually is a project that we have been working on very hardly throughout the past few months. And a couple months ago, February 2023, we actually issued the first certificate. And it's funny that the very first DSPA foundational level certificate is Diogo Queiroz Almeida, someone from the Porto region that allowed us to share this information, of course, to disclose this information. He's a public health physicist. It was very interesting for us. It was very empowering as well to understand that not an engineer or a computer scientist was actually the first ever data science foundational level certificate issued by the SPA, which actually came to prove that data science, again, it's a question of management, it's a question of common sense. And we can all, again, going back to my question before, we do not all have to be data scientists, but we can all for sure have some sort of knowledge in these fields, and we should have some sort of knowledge in these fields. To support all this process, all this project and process that I've been referring to, we developed this app playbook. It's called I'll jump forward. It's available and for free in all known Apple stores, of course, the top sellers if you want Apple and Android, where we have this app, web and mobile actually. And on the right hand side, although it's not in English yet, we'll have an English version shortly. You can get a grip on what's in it. It really is a hub of knowledge with all sorts of tools, of courses, recommendations, of skills, etc., that can lead us all to get either to enhance the knowledge we have, or to really take a step forward and get a certification that will for sure value the skills of the professionals and really do what or contribute to do what we, the SPA, were actually founded and launched to be, which is an organization that wants to empower data science for a better world. And this means to empower people and professionals and the academy and the stakeholders to know a lot more about data science, about business intelligence and analytics. And again, I'll wrap it up by saying that my link is not here, or our website is not here, dspa.pt. All this information is obviously fully available on our website. And then again, I urge you, I invite you to download our app, through which you'll get a very good understanding of all these projects and processes and skills and tools that we are making available to the market for us all to be better prepared for this future of intelligence, as we mentioned before. This is my take. I'm gonna stop now and pass it on to Fernando.
Hi, thank you, Guilherme. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm really pleased to be here with you today. My background is in management and computer science. So I'm president of Data Science Portuguese Association, but also co-founder of Closer, which is a data specialized company. So I'm going to, you already heard a lot about corporation and about the SPA. I'm going to talk about data storytelling, which is something that I'm passionate about. Let me see. Share. Okay.
It's good, Fernando.
But not on presentation mode, I think.
Not yet.
Not sure why. Not yet.
You got it now, yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
So I'm going to start with a challenge. And I will ask you, to all of you, which product represents more revenue? Which product do you think sell the most? 1, 2, 3, or 4? It's not easy, I know. I was expecting to ask you to put it on the chat, but we're going moving forward. We don't have a lot of time. But if you look to a chart like this one, it will be easier to understand which one was the product had more revenues. Sometimes choosing the right chart makes all Sorry? Okay, I'm going to continue. So now I'm going to show you a video. I hope.
Life expectancy from 25 years to 75 years. And down here, an axis for wealth, income per person, $400, $4,000, and $40,000. So down here is poor and sick, and up here is rich and healthy. Now, I'm going to show you the world 200 years ago, in 1810. Here come all the countries. Europe brown, Asia red, Middle East green, Africa south of Sahara blue, and the Americas yellow. And the size of the country bubbles show the size of the population. And in 1810, it was pretty crowded down there, wasn't it? All countries were sick and poor. Life expectancy were below 40 in all countries. And only UK and the Netherlands were slightly better off, but not much. And now, why start the world? The Industrial Revolution makes countries in Europe and elsewhere move away from the rest. But the colonized countries in Asia and Africa, they are stuck down there. And eventually, the Western countries get healthier and healthier. And now we slow down to show the impact of the First World War and the Spanish flu epidemic. What a catastrophe! And now I speed up through the 1920s and the 1930s. And in spite of the Great Depression, Western countries forge on towards greater wealth and health. Japan and some others try to follow, but most countries stay down here. Now, after the tragedies of the Second World War, we stop a bit to look at the world in 1948. 1948 was a great year. The war was over, Sweden topped the medal table at the Winter Olympics, and I was born. But the differences between the countries of the world was wider than ever. United States was in the front, Japan was catching up. Brazil was way behind, Iran was getting a little richer from oil, but still had short lives.
I'm pretty sure it will be interesting to listen to all the story, but I pick up this video because it's very easy to understand that when you tell a story, it's always more interesting than just showing numbers or data. So what is data storytelling? Most of the time, it's people associate this with data visualization, infographics, dashboards, and several other things, but it's much more than just visualization or just data visuals. You have something more. You have a narrative that you have to bring up with the rest of the information you want to share. So it's not only, like I said, data, it's not only visuals, you have a narrative. And that's very important to take in consideration when you're creating data visuals, dashboards, or a story that you want to tell with data. So why it's important to tell a story? I think most of the people know, and I'm not talking about data story telling, but the story in general. It's more memorable. It helps on persuasiveness and in terms of engagement. So it's always different when you pick up a story, or even if you're talking about something that happened and you have a data set, you have to look to that data set and choose what is the message, what is the narrative that you want to share with your audience. Of course, first of all, you need to know the audience, and you have a process. I will talk about that in a minute. So this is two different examples of dashboard with the same data set, with the same numbers, but with a different subject, with a different title and different colors. And you may look how different is the message and the emotions that you have in one dashboard and the other is totally different. So look to a different one. The way you show the data, if it's positive, if it's negative, makes the all difference. If you look to some of these examples, you will have the same idea of how important is the story you tell. Pick up the right charts. It's important. I will talk about that also. This one tells you, if you look to the end of the chart, that in the last years you have more density here in terms of climate change, but I will show you a different visual that I think will help you to see the big differences. So sometimes I have difficulties. Okay, so this one, as you can see in the right corner up, you have a difference between -2 gross Celsius and +2. So the first one is blue, the other red. So when you have red bubbles, it means that the climate is changing, and it's not that much. So it's just what you've seen. Let me show you the visual. So at the beginning, you can see that you don't have a lot of reds, just some blues and some white colors. Now you start having some orange bubbles, yellow, orange, and after the year 2000, you start having some red bubbles. So what you have here, you have the same data, but now you have a different perception of the climate change that are affecting us. I'm pretty sure that you are aware of this. It's not a surprise for you. So sometimes we have some confusion related to data story telling or with data visuals, because people think that have good dashboards is more or less the same as have cool visuals or nice and fancy dashboards. So, but it's not a question of design. That's something that I want to emphasize. It's a question of showing what is relevant and what you want to tell to your audience, more than have cool and nice shots. Of course, some people say that a good visualization is an argument and it's pretty cool, but sometimes it doesn't tell you anything. It's pretty, it's cool, but it's difficult to read. So let me share with you some simple rules. So first of all, you need to understand the context, choose the right, proper visual and effective visual, eliminate clutter, all noise, so focus the attention on what you want to share or want you want to highlight, and then tell your story. So there's several methodologies, several type of I would say frameworks like this one. It's important to not to learn all of them, but to understand that there's several different visuals. Some of them to compare, others to see, to watch the relationship. So it's very important when it comes to look to data and see what type of information you want to highlight, choose the proper visuals. And once again, not the pretty one, the one that are more easy to read and to highlight what you want to show. So those are some examples of visuals that can highlight what you want: the size, the contrast, different shape, transparency, or even symmetry between the visuals you have. So anything that can highlight, as I mentioned, what you want to share. So this is an example of very similar charts, but if you take the noise, you will have a better, more readable chart. That's an example. This is another one where you can highlight what you want, even use it to filter, and I will talk about interactive dashboards in a minute. Another example, so I'm not going to call noise to different colors, but sometimes if you don't need to have a lot of colors, you should use just the contrast as we have in our right, to show whatever you want to show. Sometimes simplifying what you have is the best choice. Another example, here you have a lot of colors, and in the other chart you have ranked the same information, and of course it's more easy to read who is on top and who is above all the others. Another example, bad pie and a good pie, not only because of this three-dimensional design, but also because you have several information, and if you're looking to a comparison or an evolution in terms of monthlies, it's better to use another type of chart. Actually, I will talk about some difficulties sometimes we have with pie charts. I agree that they are very pretty and they are very good on a dashboard, but most of the time are not a good choice in terms of telling what we want to achieve, because most of the time it's difficult to understand the big differences. So this is another different examples of different visual where it's more easy to understand where are the months where we have more higher temperatures. It's easy to see in a chart like this one than in the other. This relative size helps also to have a perspective. Sometimes when you have other type of charts, it's more difficult. So this one is also very interesting in some specific cases. Another example, the first one, at least for me, it's much pretty, and it will be very fancy in a dashboard, but it's really difficult to read. And in the other case, the second one is much easier to understand, to compare, and to see a ranking. So another thing, and I want to highlight this. I'm not showing this to teach you how to lie with data, but I think some of you will be executives, and I think it's important to understand that sometimes a little manipulation can make a big difference, and you should be aware of that. I'm going to do an exercise here. So if imagine you're a CFO and you want to talk about costs, maybe you should say that your costs are increasing, but not that much. It's a little bit increasing, but not that much. But if you're talking about revenue, if you are a CMO or a CEO, maybe you want to show a hockey stick. So the same data set, but in a different shape or angle, may show a different information. So I'm not telling you this so you can learn how to lie with data. It's not my purpose, but you should be aware that sometimes this can bring a huge difference on what you want to show. So this is an example of a good professional dashboard. Clear storyline, organized, good visuals, clear color theme, and a great use of contrast and transparency. An interactive dashboard. If you look to the top, the right top of the dashboard, you have some filters: product, category, order type. So you can choose different filters, and based on those filters, the dashboard will change. Then you can click on, for instance, on one of these countries, and all the dashboard will change also. So this is very easy to navigate on information, and it's more easy. Sometimes it's more difficult to create a good interactive dashboard, but once you create it and once you think on all of that, it's easier because you don't need to create 100 different reports. People can navigate on the dashboards and get the information they want. One thing it's important to highlight is sometimes when you want to tell the story, when it's important to you, you should tell the story. It's you who should present the dashboard before you, instead of sending the dashboard to whatever a C-level executive or wherever are the users. So if you want to highlight something, it's very important the way you show the data, the way you tell the story, and sometimes it's very difficult to do it just sending a dashboard. So that's important. The narrative, it's always with you, not in the dashboard. So this is another example of an interactive dashboard. Another one. So I'm just passing through different dashboards so you can have an idea. Here, where data storing turns into art, but and I wanted to show you this because this is really pretty, but very difficult to read. So this is just one example. You don't need to follow these rules, but this is a very interesting way of organizing your data. So you can have who in first place, then where. If imagine you're talking about sales, who it could be your main clients, or even it could be your team who is selling more. If you're talking about sales, your team, where in terms of geography, when you have an evolution in terms of, could be the year, the last week, or whatever. It depends of what you want to measure, and what type of products, what type of what do you want to put on the dashboard. So this is something you can have. This is important also when you're talking about the same information. You can have some you can separate with a lower margin. If you're changing the subject, you can put a bigger difference, bigger gap, so you can divide the information you want to show on your dashboard. I'm not sure if I've read this and I put it here, but I don't know if it needs to be 5 seconds. But it's very important to be very easy to understand what you're showing or what you want to highlight. Let me give you an example, something that most of the time it's a big challenge on when we are implementing this type of solutions. Most of the clients don't have goals and targets for everything, but sometimes it's very useful and very important to have references or a benchmark or even a goal, a target, so you can compare with what's happening. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're looking to sales in a retail company like Continental, Auchan, whatever, and you want to a dashboard, and that's something that sometimes they are very keen to have a real-time dashboard. But then they ask us for the same type of information that they are used, and the information they are used are monthly reports, some of it, or even daily reports. And if you're looking to, if you want information in real time, you should have information what's happening in the store right now. So if it's 11 in the a.m., you want to know imagine the products that are selling more, but maybe the products that are selling more are the products that are selling more all the other days, because it's normal. I don't know if it's milk or bread or Coca-Cola, but so what you should have is a sort of forecasting, or even looking to the past and what's normal to have in this day, Wednesday, 11 a.m., what's normal to sell in each type of product. And then you should highlight the patterns or the big differences. Imagine you're not selling beer in this day, and it's normal to what's happening. Maybe you don't have on stock, or you have to take care of that. So if you want to highlight something with colors, with some reds, because it's not something it's not running properly, you should have those references to compare with what's happening. So if you don't have targets for each hour, it doesn't matter. You can create it. You have it for monthly or for a week or for in a daily basis. You can, make the calculations and compare all the time and highlight what's happening in the store, for instance. I think most of you are aware of this, but I think it's important to highlight the world is changing very fast, and we have more information today than ever since, and it's growing. Everyone spend more time in looking to devices that 10 years ago. In 2015, the word of the year was an emoji, the one with laughing with tears. So everything is really changing, and with so many data, creating data models, using AI to prescribe activities and decisions through the process. It's really important to highlight what's happening in a company, in your organization. And if you don't have proper visualization, something that really helps to understand what's happening, it will be difficult to manage all of that. So 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you didn't have all of that, and it will be much easier. Today, it's a challenge that is growing, and it's not going to be simplified for sure. So some rules for a good data story: set up your story. It's not only for a dashboard, even for data science. I'm always saying this. You have to ask the right questions, and for this, it's the same. It's really important. So you need to know your audience. So then you can provide the context, what you want. Compare metrics with industry benchmarks or with the targets you define. Even if the targets were monthly targets, you can make the calculations and put it in hours or minutes. Be clear, that's important. I already mentioned that. Use the proper visuals. Honest and credible. I know I teach you how to lie, but that's not what it wasn't my purpose. And of course, every time you can end with an insight. It's really important when you're telling a story. So I will. Sorry it was too fast, but we are. I don't want to go much more behind schedule. We are behind schedule. So and we will have time to have a Q&A in the end. But I would like to finish with an example, very recent and fresh example. If I show you these numbers, of course, you don't have any context, you don't know what I'm talking about. If I put this, you will not have any information, of course. But and it's the same data set. If I put something like this, you will understand what I was telling, or what I was showing. I'm Benfica supporter, but it's not why I choose this one. I was today thinking I would like to put something recent. It's when you see in the movies, some people show the newspapers so they can show that it's something recent. And of course, this is not a good story because at least for the Portuguese. But anyway, you can tell the story as you want. I'm not lying with data. This is proper data. It wasn't what I felt because I was in the stadium. But then looking to data, actually, in all different statistics, Benfica was better than Inter Milan, and but anyway, they won. I didn't put here the goals, and they had two goals, and Benfica had 0. And maybe in other statistics they were better, but most of the statistics I use SoccerScore. They don't have number of kilometers and number of attacks, but I thought I heard that we had more than Inter. But this is something you can show with data. So something that it's the data you have. If you show something like this, it will be possible to tell the same story, but it's not the same. You have to say, look, 58 is more than 42, 12 more than 9. But if you show something like this, you put a line, 50%, and Benfica was always above the 50% line. So you can have, you can make a print screen if you want to have this for further reading. And now I will be glad to answer to questions you have. Nobody's asking. I hope I'm not talking for myself in the last 30 minutes. No, we have.
Podia colocar novamente os livros para ver?
Claro que sim.
Obrigado.
Arjit, you have your hand up. You can ask.
Actually, I did raise hand before because some students were waiting outside. So now I think it's no more required.
Any questions? We have time now. Okay.
I might ask something. For such simple data that you like the one I presented from yesterday's game, do you know any program where we could easily have like cool infographics? Because what you showed was just simple Excel graphs. So
Yeah.
do you know any platform or something that we could use for simple things? Thank you.
Yeah. Look, even for simple things, most of the better dashboarding tools can be used, like Power BI, Tableau, Click, or the Looker from Google. You can use it for simple things, and they have very good visuals. Maybe there are some open source data visualization. Actually, I used Excel. It was, like you said, very simple, but sometimes simple is better. But you have several visuals on Excel, and most of them are very useful and allow you to compare, to see the evolution wherever you want to show. But Power BI, like I said, ClickView, MicroStrategy, there are several tools to do this kind of things.
Anyone else? You are very quiet, all of you.
Or it's because they don't like the matter, or is it, I don't know. It's because we are what separates them from the dinner, and no questions. So I think we will be very glad to answer if you have. We will have our contacts. You can connect with me via LinkedIn, and if you have any questions, we will be very glad to.
And later we will share with all of you the presentation, the PowerPoint that was used for a future reading. So we conclude here the masterclass. Good dinner for all.
For you too. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
See you. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
very much.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.